Why do I need a financial planner now? What has changed so dramatically in the last few years?
Generation of wealth happens only if there is experience.
Don't recommend
Fights between you guys?
Most of the time.
What will spoil my score? Therefore, it is our endeavor at Money 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 to simplify the world of insurance for you.
This can be a revolutionary change, making life easy for us.
Create wealth over a longer period of time. You need to be into assets which are growth oriented.
We're here in beautiful Bangalore.
Nifty is down more than 1%. The Sensex as well has lost close to around 2.5%.
For everyone who's wondering what Aditya is doing, okay.
So at the moment there are 3 Germans in the army.
go into my savings account.
To, get advice from Mr. Rungta.
Yukuri.
I'm very, very kind of girl.
Maybe that's why.
I'll be heading for a sabbatical soon and will be entrusting money to Surabhi's trusted and very capable hands. Your weekly personal finance date with me, Surabhi Upadhyay.
Better late than never.
Any facets so that
Overall, we're talking about $1 billion or that equivalent.
Welcome to the 100th episode of Money Money Money. Yes, we've hit a century. So we were anyway thinking of special ideas for this show, but then Finance Minister Jaitley seems to have done that job for us. If there's one thing that Budget 2016 will surely be remembered for, it's the EPF tax controversy. One that saw such a huge public outcry that the government had no option but to roll back its proposal to tax 60% of your EPF corpus at the time of withdrawal. So what next? Does the Finance Minister's statement bring total clarity? Is the Employee Provident Fund the best vehicle to park your retirement savings in? And what about the NPS? Does it still get the tax benefit upon withdrawal? Well, we're going to try and answer all of those questions over the next half hour. I'm Surabhi Upadhyay, and joining me on the show today, Kuldeep Kumar, Leader Personal Tax at PwC, Homi Mistry, Partner at Deloitte, and Personal Finance Expert Kartik Zaveri. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for taking out the time and joining us on the show today. Before I get your reactions on this much-awaited rollback, let's actually go back and listen in to the Finance Minister as well as the Minister of State for Finance talking about the withdrawal of these provisions.
In the present reform, the policy objective is not to get more revenue but to encourage people to join the pension scheme. There are various other suggestions received which can also achieve the same policy objective of encouraging people to join the pension scheme. In view of the representations received, the government would like to do a comprehensive review of this proposal, and therefore I withdraw the proposal in paragraph 138 and 139 of my budget speech. The proposal of 40% exemption given to NPS subscribers at the time of withdrawal remains.
हमारा लक्ष्य इस प्रस्ताव से था कि देश में जो हमारे सैलरीड क्लासेस हैं वो रिटायरमेंट के लिए और भी उनको सुविधा मिले और रिटायरमेंट के लिए वो और बचत करें। जो हम लोगों ने पीएफ में परिवर्तन लाया था वो लोगों को पसंद नहीं आया, और क्योंकि हमारी सरकार जो है वो लोगों की बात सुनती है, लोगों से सुझाव लेती है, हम लोगों ने उसमें परिवर्तन ले आए हैं।
Okay, so let's get in first reactions from our panel. Homi, let me start with you. Good news, bad news, status quo is pretty much back?
I think it's pretty good news. I'm sure the salaried class would be very excited to hear this proposal, and because now they won't be paying any tax, the status quo has been restored. And not only that, you still continue getting this benefit of 40% when you withdraw the money from your NPS. So that continues. So I think that's very good news for the salaried class.
I'm going to come back to that 40% benefit on NPS in just a bit, but let's get in the other tax expert as well. Kuldeep, if you can hear me, your thoughts on the rollback that's been announced?
I think this was expected. It is good that government is in the listening mode, and for the salaried class, actually it is the Provident Fund which is one of the I will say a significant tool of saving money for their retirement. Now, I think one interesting thing which the Finance Minister said, that the objective was not to actually collect tax but to create a social security for the working class. Now, and they're pushing, actually, if you see that section for the NPS, there's a deduction of 1,50,000, and last year actually they gave an additional deduction of 50,000 to the individuals. But yet, the NPS has not become that popular even after being there for such a long time. Now, and primary reason for this is that if you are saving in Provident Fund, it is exempt.
Sure.
And the National Pension Scheme is exempt tax. So still, although the budget has actually given exemption for 40% of the withdrawal which will take place in case of NPS, but still, if you compare with the Provident Fund, the NPS scheme is still not that attractive. And when we have to see it not only from the salaried class, but the self-employed people actually have to use the NPS for saving their retirement.
Kuldeep, I'm going to come back to you because we're going to be discussing the NPS and the comparison between EPF and NPS in greater detail on the show in just a bit. We've got an SMS from a viewer, so let's address some of the queries that we've been getting as well since morning. This is from Karan Varshne. He's from Mumbai. He's 28 years old and he's an IT professional. He says, I need more clarification on the rollback of the EPF tax. Is it absolute? Have we gone back to square one or to base one? Karthik, I heard lots of interesting commentary during this entire, period from the 29th of February.
Right.
Some of the planners actually said that the government perhaps had a point. What the government was trying to do is to ensure people using a tax take, as the case has mostly been in our country, to move towards a safety net for retirement, to ensure that we don't use up the NPS, the EPF corpus for things like daughter's wedding or, further education of students, etc., of children, etc. Was there any merit in that argument? Because the counter to that was also very, very fierce. And the counter was, does the government have the right to decide what I want to do with my hard-earned money?
Yeah, yes and no. There are arguments on both sides. Fundamentally, I think it was a great change that was brought in. And a lot of times, we are still driven by emotionally charged decisions, panic, reaction, hitting the panic button, doing signature campaigns, but without doing any mathematics or seeing the merit. I think there was enormous merit and the middle class doesn't know what they have lost by this rollback. So on the face of it, very nice that, your taxes, your EPF is now not going to be taxed.
What has the middle class lost?
In terms of, if you do mathematics, like a simple example, now that you mentioned, see a 10,000 contribution over 25 years and say increasing at 5% every year, you see, would have accumulated close to about 1.6 crores in your EPF. Against that, your NPS, provided you choose that equity option which has 50% money in equity
and
investment.
And that's the maximum
That's the maximum possible.
in terms of equity exposure within the National Pension Scheme.
Absolutely, and that would have got you 2.5 crores. So, in terms of what you had in your hand, you were almost equal to the EPF. In addition to that, you had a whole annuity. So now, we are only madly driven by tax. We don't want to pay tax. Tax is a bad word. You see, but what a lot of people did not understand is, whatever they have accumulated till 31st of March 2016 is all tax-free. It's only the future contributions. So typically if somebody was 40 years plus, 50 years plus, had about 10-15 years to go in service, doesn't have much to worry of because a large component of your PF is already tax-free.
So exactly as I've heard several planners say, planners advocated actually in favor of the 60% tax. But let's not talk about that because it's history for now. The proposal is on the back burner. Coming back to the clarity, and Homi, your thoughts on this. So what was announced by the minister in Parliament was that he is taking away the paragraph number 138 and 139 from the speech. 138 spoke of the 60% tax or the tax on 60% of the corpus. 139 also mentioned about the employer's contribution to EPF and that 1.5 lakh rupee cap that came on it. What is your understanding now? Is that cap also gone? Have we gone back to square one even in terms of employer's contribution?
That's correct, because what the finance minister also mentioned today is that he's also withdrawing para 139. And para 139 mentioned earlier about the cap of 1.5 lakhs when the employer contributed to a recognized provident fund. So that cap, basically that cap is also gone. So it's gone back to the earlier provision which basically stated that if the employer contributed more than 12% to the recognized provident fund, only that excess would be taxed.
Okay, so now that we've gone back to square one with respect to EPF, the next question arises. Where should your money be? Should it be in the EPF or should it be in the NPS? That part of the conversation after the break.